On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I took some liberties here because I was trying to keep from getting in too much trouble on the thumbnail, but obviously the last name of the individual is the ingredient that we have removed. So very cool stuff. We got a story on that. We've got obviously some crazy stuff that's happening on Election Day, and I did go vote. I got my stupid sticker. Told you no way in hell I'd put it on myself. That's retarded. But I got it. Went there and voted. Literally had one thing to vote. There was checkbox yes or checkbox no. I said nope. Don't want to give permission to this. It's stupid. And therefore, I have cast my ballot. Now, we've got a lot going on. Also got some things stirring up in the world. We're probably going to see some kinetic action happening here in South America in the very, very near-term future. So a lot is going to be happening. How that affects our world is also going to come into play. Oh, and did I mention the government's still shut down? Yeah, I probably should bring that up. Just FYI, people freaking out about the birth rate, but conservatives have a much higher birth rate right now than liberals. So just be happy and know that the proper people are reproducing and the improper people don't even know what sex they are anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Yeah, so we're good. Just when you thought it wasn't possible to hate the media more, well, you'll come to find out it's easy, actually. Found out that the media had actually been spying on individuals getting their eyes on sensitive information that they shouldn't be, essentially spying. White House released a memo Friday trying to put an end to this. There is this upper area, the upper press area, I guess they call it. Needless to say, this memorandum directs the prohibition of press pass holders from accessing room 140 in the West Wing, also known as upper press, which is situated adjacent to the Oval Office without an appointment. This policy will ensure adherence to best practices pertaining to access to sensitive material. As a result of recent structural changes to the National Security Council, the White House is now responsible for directing all communications, including on all national security matters. In this capacity, members of the White House communications staff are routinely engaged with sensitive material. In order to protect such material and maintain coordination between National Security Council staff and White House communication staff, members of the press are no longer permitted to access room 140 without prior approval in the form of an appointment with an authorized White House staff member. Members of the press may continue to freely engage with the White House press aides in the lower press area outside of the briefing room. In order to meet with White House communications staff in room 140 or upper press must request an appointment by emailing press.appointment@who.eop.gov. This policy is effective immediately. Some of the leaks have been coming from there. We've also got another place where leaks are going to be highlighted. We'll be talking about that in a very short period of time. So again, a lot of crazy stuff's going on. Jim Jordan posted this. The Biden-Harris DOJ targeted President Trump, sitting members of Congress, conservative organizations they didn't agree with, parents at school board meetings, and Catholics. They wanted to destroy people's lives and bankrupt them with legal fees for no reason. And Democrats still won't admit they weaponized the government. Right? They just, still to this day. Just blows my mind. Absolutely impossible for them to accept that they've done anything wrong. Secret Service. As I talked about spying happening in other ways, well, Secret Service found bugs in the White House. Tiny electronic listening devices were discovered hidden throughout the West Wing, including inside Carolyn Leavitt's office. Described as state-of-the-art micro-transmitters no bigger than a human hair, the bugs were embedded in lamp fixtures, buried in the carpet, and even concealed with a potted plant in the Roosevelt room. Who planted them? Right? That's the billion-dollar question. I would assume they would be able to tell from somewhat by the technology employed. I would assume that we all have our trade crafts and different countries do it differently. I would assume that this is the deep state, though, 100%. This is just sad to me, but whatever. It's a short story.
AI is officially hitting the music charts. Billboard says Zanaya Monet is the first known AI artist to earn enough radio play to debut on a Billboard chart. Her songs have now appeared on multiple lists, and she's landed a multi-million-dollar record deal after what Billboard called a, quote, bidding war.
I just can't believe this is literally... So not even real people are making music now and making $1 million record deals. Look at that. That's insane to me. I don't know why I can't. Love telegrams sometimes. Oof. Trump demands a nuclear option. He's talking about, of course, getting rid of the filibuster. What we're finding out from Thune, anyways, right now is he doesn't have the votes. There's no way he can pull off getting rid of the filibuster. He needs 50 votes, I believe, or 51 votes. Well, 50, I guess, technically. And then a tiebreaker could be J.D. Vance. But he doesn't believe he's got that, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, a number of players, Rand Paul, McConnell, even Grassley, and some of these guys don't want to get rid of the filibuster. Now, why is Trump making so much noise about the filibuster? He's trying to bring our attention to it for a reason. I think there's a strong push there. His discussions, too, about how we're going to lose in the coming midterms and elections. I don't know where this... Kind of weird. It's sort of, to me, feels like a panicky kind of message. Again, I'm not quite sure why he did what he did. And so whatever the case is, Thune doesn't think they got the votes. It ain't going to happen. I don't want to play this because I don't want to. Just Marjorie Taylor Greene is on the wrong list. She was on The View. She, as far as I'm concerned, is definitely persona non grata. She knows it now, and she's wearing it as a badge of honor and courage. I think there's what's really difficult for many people to appreciate, and certainly she's not been read in on anything because she's horrible. There's no way they would ever tell her any secrets whatsoever because she couldn't keep her mouth shut. And I'm sure that's a big part of the problem. And my guess is she's already been compromised. And I've suggested that before because it's just like somebody had her ear and gets her to say stupid stuff. Almost assuredly, she's been compromised. She's probably had a relationship with someone that's married or something stupid like that. So whatever the case is, it's not going to go well for her from this point forward. She's trash. But one thing a lot of people don't understand is the way control works. When you've got something on somebody, it's worth way more being able to show them the picture and go, look, I got a picture of you and that underage chick. You're going to do what I want. Than it is to show that picture to the public and lose that. You see, these types of things can be used against you no matter what when you've made a mistake, but it depends who holds them. If the good guys hold them, then the good guys can hold it over your head. If the bad guys hold them, then the bad guys can hold it over your head. But either way, it causes you to have to behave a certain way. It just does. So having the Epstein list released, although is what everybody wants, would actually hurt the big picture. A lot, actually. Now, I get why people want it so badly, but again, there's a lot of people that are under our thumb in doing what we need because of the Epstein files, or similar things for that matter. So again, this is what Marjorie Taylor Greene's thing is. She's like, I'll support getting that list out to anybody. I'll jump on board. I'll jump on a Chinese ship if I have to. She didn't say that. I'm just adding those words. She's talking about getting in bed with the Democrats, so might as well. So again, it's like someone's just very hyper-focused on a single-threaded thing. Like, this has to happen. This has to come out. And it's like, you don't understand the larger picture. And you don't have to like it. And I frankly don't give a shit if you do or don't. But understanding it is helpful because when it doesn't happen, you might be less butthurt than otherwise. Whatever. Like it, don't like it. It is what it is. Again, Marjorie Taylor Greene was on The View. She was talking about how she's breaking with Trump, calling for women of maturity to unite. There you go. I don't think she's going to take anyone with her. She's on The View. That's about as... Yeah, that's like you are a traitor, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm done with her, 100%. I love it when I get people every once in a while that'll send me stuff. Like someone, again, tried to get me to think differently of Massey. I don't know if it's the same person. There's one person in particular that just got annoying because they kept just coming at me. But then recently somebody hit me up. And again, I'm not trying to be a dick, but there's a lot of people that reach out to me. And they're like, yeah, no, Massey, this is why, because blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so? That's a stupid reason to like him, in my opinion. I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm just saying that's a stupid reason to like him. She's another individual that I'm sure I'm going to get emails from people on how she's doing the right thing. 100% disagree, okay? She's part of this Freedom Caucus. I've actually not seen anything good come out of any of them. They steal the name. Again, whenever it's named after something that's really awesome, it's almost never that. So, we'll see. But as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be everything I can do to help her lose her next election and be replaced by someone. Hopefully, we primary her with someone, good is my hope. But I don't know. Well, we'll see. Maybe we got something to control her with, right? Maybe there's some information I'm lacking. We'll see what happens. I don't think Trump's going to be pro-her next time around, so I'm sure we'll find somebody to run against her. Government shutdown set to become the longest ever. We've got a whole lot of elections going on today, obviously. I think today literally ties the longest shutdown ever. So from this point forward, it gets longer. There is some speculation that a lot of the Democrats are waiting for what happens in the vote today. Specifically, I think they're very curious about New York and whether or not they've been able to turn enough people or control maybe something enough to be able to literally get this real communist thing going within the country. And Mom Donnie would certainly be the first outwardly communist. I mean, he calls himself a socialist, but he's a communist 100%. And he'd really be the first one. And to be able to take complete control of New York under that, well, that's going to be pretty crazy. So we'll talk more about that coming up in what I'm calling the hell election. But Senate failed to vote again to open the government today, so that didn't happen. Democrats are divided on how we should even come back to the table. And here's my point. If we literally don't open it up Thursday, which I think is the next vote, if we don't open it up Thursday, I'm actually going to have huge thoughts that it might not open back up. And we might be going down the tariff road, which that is happening tomorrow, the tariff hearings with the Supreme Court. And if Trump can get that situated where he, in fact, does have the power, then now he's got all this tariff money that's going into the Treasury, and they can do things with it while the government's shut down, which gets me back to the point of the collapse of the United States corporation and the upbringing of the United States Republic. And many say that's what we're doing. I can't necessarily see an easier way forward from where we're at. Now, Brunson case and stuff like that, I can see that almost possible once we've gone through this. The United States corporation is bankrupt. Then, to me, the Brunson case starts to make a lot of sense because now we'll actually be able to get rid of a lot of these crap senators and Congress members in general that need to go. So, again, if they're able to open it, are we able to open it? Will we open it? We're going to find out. We're certainly going to find out. Speaker Johnson throws cold water on December end date for the funding bill. He's basically saying all this time we've been trying to pass this CR. That was to get us to November 21st. And that's because they want to hit the deadline for the end of the year to negotiate the whole Obamacare thing and how they can move forward and actually try to save money, make it more efficient, get Doge. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that can happen to help save money. And rather than just throwing more money at it, which is the very much Democrat way, they're like, no, let's make it better. Let's stop this nonsense. It didn't work when it came out. It didn't do any of the things you guys said it would do. Everybody will be able to keep their own doctor. You weren't able to do that. It'll be cheaper. It immediately became more expensive. So none of the things they promised us were true. None of them. Zero of them were true. And it's sucky insurance on top of that. On top of being extraordinarily expensive and making all insurance extraordinarily expensive since the government got involved. Again, all of it just horrible. So Speaker Johnson's like, yeah, with this, the CR's not even going to matter anymore. So essentially at this point, he's saying House isn't going to go back in session until the Senate passes something. When the Senate can pass something, we'll convene the House and we'll vote on that something. Otherwise, there's no point. They can't pass the thing we put through, a CR with zero pork attached to it. They couldn't pass that. We're not going to come back into session. Now, the thing that still sucks is that Arizona chick, so long as they're not in session, she's not part of Congress right now, which is also interesting. And I don't think she can sue because you can't sue and force Congress to come into session, though we've got district courts, I'm sure, that would try to do that and try to force Congress to come into session. That would be kind of funny. All said, I'm kind of waiting for that to happen. We'll see. Well, again, this is just so much crazy. So much freaking crazy. All right, as far as the shutdown goes, we've got travel chaos going on at major airports as government shutdown reaches record 35th day. I thought 33 was the max, so 35 apparently is the record. Federal aviation authorities have implemented new ground halts at major Texas airport. We also had a problem at Reagan National, which we'll get into. They're also talking about how if this continues for, I think, just past this week or something, that they're literally going to have to start shutting down some locations. Like some places are just not going to be able to have flights. It'll probably be your smaller airports, and they won't be able to have flights because they don't have air traffic control. There's nothing they can do. Judges can be like, well, you have to keep them open. And there's what? And people die? How does that go? Does that fall on you, Judge? Can we put you in jail if anybody dies in a plane crash because of your order? You know, I mean, again, this is how this plays out. It's going to be fascinating to me. I'm sure a bunch of district judges are going to get involved and put their hands on the scale and, you know, until the Supreme Court or someone can finally impeach them. Boasberg, I think, is one that's supposed to talk to Congress. We'll see what happens. Now, Trump put this post out. This confused a lot of people. Carolyn Levitt came back and sort of gave us some clarity on this just shortly after. But Trump's post that has affected everyone. SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars manyfold during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed to everyone for asking, as opposed to just those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP, will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up the government, which they can easily do, and not before. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, Carolyn Levitt's like, that's not quite what's happening. She basically said, look, Trump is going to give the money, at least for this first round. It's going to be at a 50%, because frankly, I don't know. From what I understand, there's only like $5-6 trillion or billion dollars in this slush fund. They make it sound like maybe it's something they've got there every month. I don't know, but they make it sound like it's just $5 billion, and that money is going to be spent this month. Like there's not going to be much left of it. Even maybe at 50%, there might be a teeny bit left, but I don't know how far that goes. And maybe with the fact that, cause I think there was a figure I saw somewhere where close to 700,000 SNAP recipients are no longer SNAP recipients. So maybe to some degree that will help improve the situation. Again, we'll see. But yes, this is a great graph. This talks about the increase of SNAP benefits. So issuance of FY19 versus issuance FY20, and then issuance FY21. And then this is the percent change between 20 and 21. Now, everywhere it's gone up. What's really funny is Minnesota's gone up 173%. 60-some percent, 67, 68, 60, is like that one of the highest I see in here. Minus the 173% in Minnesota. Think about that for a second. Where's that money going? How's that being used? Back in 2019, they got $509 million. Then it went to $724 million. Then it went to $1.98 million. What? So there is a whole lot of fraud that's happening through Minnesota, obviously. Whole lot of fraud happening. There's no way their population went up that much. So we got fraud happening all over the place. California went up surprising 43%, which is quite a bit. It was $5.9 billion in 2019. Went to $7.8 billion in 2020. Is now $11.2 billion with a B in 2021. It's up a lot, right? Florida's up too. I mean, so, it's not a red-blue thing as much as it's being abused all over the place. Obviously, the worst states that you would expect are the ones that have some of the highest numbers. Hawaii's gone up an insane amount, 67%. So again, it's happening kind of across the board. Ohio's up 40%. Pennsylvania's up 42%. What's a good? Here's Texas. Texas is up 39%, right? Utah's up 46%. So it's not like a blue-red thing as much as a fraud thing that's happening all over the place, all over the bloody place. 21 Democrat states are refusing to turn over illegal immigrant SNAP data. This is going to be interesting because I don't know what laws or what legal ramifications they have. Can they hold back SNAP payments for those states? It's like, all right, you don't want to give us the information that we require. we're not going to give you any SNAP money until you give us the information. If you want to sue us, that's fine. We just want the information on who's illegal and who's not. You're not getting it to us. We're going to stop giving you funds. To me, it sounds like they should start a lawsuit, and then any sort of district judge that would try to stop them from doing that, they'd be like, well, you can't supersede a legal thing that's already happening, right? Like, there's already a lawsuit underway. So hopefully these states are currently in a lawsuit. USDA secretary, hopefully they start something. We'll see how it plays out again. Trump did say, here's where it is. Supposedly 700,000 people have already been removed from the program. That certainly helps. But yeah, that's a small drop in the bucket in the big picture. And let's see. Yeah, it's like 42. Oh, okay, that was a million people. I wish they had the actual numbers. They're pretty high, though. It's very expensive. It's an extremely expensive program. And so I don't know how many months they can go, with this $5 billion. It doesn't seem like they should be able to go very far. Even at 50%, I don't understand how it can go even a full month. House GOP says Democrats using leverage as Republicans serve at food banks during the shutdown. Talk about optics. That's pretty cool. They're at least volunteering time at food banks while the Democrats keep everything shut down and continuing to starve people. Duffy warns transportation department may have to close some airspace next week. We talked about that. But yeah, this 35-day shutdown is, well, it's screwing a lot of stuff up. And he says by November 11th, the country's air travel system will see mass chaos, including flight delays, cancellations, and perhaps the closing of certain airspace areas because we just cannot manage it, because we don't have the air traffic controllers. So literally 7 days. And if this goes that far, then I don't think we're opening back up. If we make it to the 11th and we're still not open, I don't think we're opening back up. If we don't open back up like Thursday, Friday this week, I don't think we're going to. At least I'm going to be under the assumption that this is going to go much longer, which again could be a good thing. I think there's potentiality that a lot of contracts start to dry up or start to actually go into a different default status. After a certain number of days. I've heard 60, could be other numbers. It probably depends on the contracts, depends on the department. So I don't know if there's just a simple answer to that. I doubt it. Nothing's ever simple with the government. But we will start running into some of those things. And this will be where Trump can literally shut stuff down. And then we don't have to fund it after, retroactively. It's gone. They kept it closed long enough. So again, is this how we reach that next place? Is through this transition, and it happens quick enough and in such a way that we're able to sort of pay the people that need to be paid, we can get rid of the people that we can get rid of, and then we start to move forward with a thinned down government. And if he can do that and still show GDP moving and still show the numbers going up like they're supposed to, we win in the midterm elections. So I don't know if the filibuster matters, but I think it's Trump making noise. I think it's Trump making noise, trying to distract. Well, he's busy making these legal stuff, executive orders, and things that are going to happen in the very near-term future that is going to change things. Again, I hate to say it in advance because I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but this would make sense is all I can say. From an analytic standpoint, this is very possible. We'll see. If it continues on, it's going to be harder and harder to open the government. And again, we're going to find out what is important and what isn't important very soon. Very soon. Holy crap. Here's a little bit of terrifying development. Chuck Schumer is no longer the golden child. Well, it never was, really. At least hasn't been for a long time. But, now the air traffic controller union is pissed at him.
No, these American patriots, they are the unsung heroes that Secretary Duffy speaks about so often. They are the ones that have been thrust into the spotlight, into center focus of a shutdown. And air traffic controllers, we don't start shutdowns. We're not responsible for ending shutdowns. But who does? It's Congress. And that's why we're saying end the shutdown immediately. It's not like we're sitting here talking about an aviation issue. We're talking, I understand the fears, the frustrations of the American people. We want to do an amazing job on their behalf, and we are. We're showing up to work every day the best way that we can to get through this crisis, but this isn't something that we asked for. We didn't want to put ourselves in the middle of it, yet here we are, the rope in the tug-of-war game that we didn't ask for at all, and we should not be used as political pawns in any way, shape, or form for these shutdowns.
I mean, yeah, and I agree. I agree with that. I mean, of course, right? Well, just FAA, they issued a ground stop for all flights in and out of Reagan International Airport due to the security issue. I guess there was a flight coming in from Texas. Odd, it wasn't a Spirit Air flight. I would have expected it there. Some sort of security issue. They didn't tell us what's up. They literally offloaded and bust everybody to the terminal. So I don't know if was potentially a device or something that they thought was on the plane that they got concerned about. And then from that standpoint, apparently, eventually, they allowed traffic to continue. So I don't know if we'll ever know. I don't know what's going to be told to us. 80% of Michael Burry's 13F is Palantir and NVIDIA puts. Just long story short, this dude, I guess, was done by, Christian Bale played him in The Big Short. And this guy was also part of the War Game movie, too, I guess? I don't know, whatever. But yeah, he's had a couple real cryptic posts, and this dude's kind of been on it when it's come to the stock market and some of the weird random stuff, and I think he plays in crypto and all that stuff. Like, this guy's pretty savvy, to my understanding. He's doing these puts and what's the other one? Put and not short and put. What's the other one? Puts, whatever. He's doing these things, and it's kind of crazy, right? Sometimes we see bubbles. Sometimes there is something to do about it. Sometimes the only winning move is not to play. And he also put this out. These aren't the charts you're looking for. You can go about your business. And so, what is he showing here? I want to see. Didn't really dig into this as much as I should. So this U.S. tech CapEx growth is matching the tech bubble of 1999. So yeah, we're following the trend. And they're talking about what this whole article has to do with is the AI CapEx expenditures. And capital expenditure, for people that know what CapEx is, it's basically larger purchased items. You can write them off over, 5 years, I believe it is, 20%, or you can do different weird offerings. But you basically take a very expensive piece of equipment or something like that, and you write it off as a CapEx, and it allows you to spread it over 5 years. And so a lot of the big money they spend, they do it that way just so it helps them tax-wise over an extended period of time, rather than just getting a big tax hit 1 year and then kind of be screwed the next few years. So it's a fun way to kind of spread that out and allows them, businesses, to get a benefit from investment. But he's talking about this bubble that's created, and AI specifically, and he's talking about Palantir and NVIDIA, the two that are the big ones when it comes to this AI movement and the AI CapEx growth, and what he's calling the AI CapEx bubble. It's these two. So he's putting these puts on them, if you will, expecting them to not do as well. We don't know his numbers, so people are very curious about that. But yeah, it's not looking good for these two technologies. So if you guys are sitting on any of these technologies, you might want to consider selling, because it sounds like the genie's going to come out of the bottle. And we were seeing. Yeah, this is crypto. Crypto is having a crap day. I'm curious if anything's changed. I just wanted to give this a chance. Let's just refresh it. Screw it. All right, so Dow Jones has been down today. NASDAQ's down 2%. S&P's 1.17. Dow's down about 0.5%. Gold's down too, which is a good sign for people. Oh, oil's 60.35. Not below 60 yet, but it's going down. That's good. What's going on? Europe's, Asia's definitely having a tough time. Not bad, just, they're down. Euro, pound, so the currencies are, they're all down compared to us, which is partially why gold and silver's going down. The dollar seems to be having a somewhat strong day. But yes, gold and silver, gold's down $65. It's sitting at just under 4,000. Again, it's not going to stay here. Gold and silver are getting hit hard for a reason. Silver's popped back down to 46, which is awesome, especially considering what I'm going to be telling you in a second. Some of you know. Bitcoin was down a bunch. Now it's picked back up. Oh, wow. Yeah, it was down a bunch. Yeah, I was at like 103, 105 somewhere when I first looked at it today. It is now at 100, so apparently it's on the rise again. Wow. Yeah, Bitcoin's taking a crap. What was it? It was 110 as of going into Monday. And yeah, it's down almost 10 grand. So down almost 10% basically in a couple days. Yeah, everything's kind of taking a crap right now, and frankly, nobody really knows why, to be honest with you. That one guy that I was talking about with the AI bubble, that might be, AI doesn't seem to be quite whatever, this panacea that everyone thought it would be, whatever the case is. It is creating fun in the big picture. I've got to tell you guys, we got a super big special going on. This is the best time. If you got a 401k or an IRA, this is your best opportunity. In fact, they lowered the cap even down to 10 grand. So this is your best opportunity to get out of their system, tax-free and penalty-free. You're going to move the money sideways. Now, I know there's some people saying, if you don't have it in your hands, then you don't have it. And it's like that. If you have it in your hands, that's called a payout. If you literally have the precious metals in your hands, you're going to be taxed and you're going to be penalized before you get that money, right? Because they got to pull it out and then get precious. Now, there might be some places that are just pulling out as much money from your thing as they can and buying precious, and then you're just getting hit with the fines and everything afterwards. That's a lot to ask. What I say is you push it sideways, leave it there for, I don't know, a short period of time if you really want, and then cash it out, because you're maxing out the amount you're going to go sideways with. That's the difference. You're going to get out tax-free, penalty-free, so you're going to take as much of it as you possibly can and get that pushed into precious. They'll put it in a trust. It's physical metals. It's actually yours. And you can ask them, can I cash that out at some point and actually have the physical metals sent to me? And I'm reasonably sure yes is the answer, because otherwise I'm sure by this point they would have told me, dude, stop telling them that. So here's the exclusive we got going on. This is my listeners only. Limited time deal for the month of November only, meaning the sale has to close this month. Okay? Takes 2 to 3 weeks to do this. Now, if you're 2 weeks in, just understand, if you're on top of it, it can happen probably shorter than that. They've got DocuSign. They are good at what they do. They've got multiple suppliers. This is the company that can make it happen. But you want to get out of that tax-free, penalty-free as quick as possible. Now, Goldco, they're going to offer up to 10% free silver on top of what you're bringing over, right? So if you're bringing over 100 grand, Goldco is going to offer up 10% free silver and give that to you. What I'm doing is I'm offering up 1% as well. So you're going to get an additional 1% on top of that, up to 10% from me, just because I love you guys and I'm trying to put something special together for you guys. So it's a way to give back to loyal listeners. Act now. The sales that close this month only. Don't waste time on this one. This is in addition to the 10%, or up to 10% anyways. So, like I said, if it's $100,000, you're going to get 10% from Goldco and an also additional 1% or $1,000 in silver from me, a gift to you. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get your gold protection kit, learn about it, get the ball rolling, and protect your wealth. And it protects your buying power. Again, your buying power is what matters. This gold coin would buy me a fully tailored suit back in 1915 or 1930. One gold piece would buy me a fully handmade tailored suit. It was worth like $15, $20, $30, whatever it was at the time. It depends kind of exactly where. I think 1915, I don't know. I don't actually know what it was worth. It was under 30. Now, it's worth $4,000. It'll still buy you a fully tailored, handmade suit. Buying power. If you've got enough buying power, think about what you've got. You're looking at $100,000 where you live. What is that? A car? A house, maybe? A down payment on a house. That's the buying power of what $100,000 is. If you put that into precious metals, you protect that buying power. And at some point, you can either be like, hey, I got a bunch of this gold, I'll do that for a down payment. Or we've already got a currency-backed or a precious metals-backed currency that we're most likely going to. Everybody's suggesting this. And this has always been talked about. Q-posts even talk about the Fed. The gold will destroy the Fed. So you're already there. You're already in the thing backing the currency. So it'll be very easy to exchange and purchase and hold that buying power when we get to this new system. This is how you take as much of that buying power with you. The dollar value is going down every day because of inflation. You guys have noticed prices of groceries have gone up, or the price of your house has gone up. It's not because your house has gotten more valuable. In fact, it gets less valuable with age, really, right? You got to replace roofs and stuff after, 30 years, whatever. It's not more valuable. It's less valuable, but money's worth less. So you get more of it for the same value. Buying power. Lock it in. It's like a battery. You're sucking all that battery, all that buying power into it, and then you hold that, and then later can use the buying power from it. That's what you're doing. You're protecting your wealth. It's a horrible investment if the economy's in a good place. When the economy's in a bad place, this is the best investment. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Take advantage of that free 1% that I'm offering you. And take advantage of the up to 10% Goldco's giving you as well. You got a chance to get up to 11% free silver. Silver's the one that's got a multiplier baked in. Extra silver is a very good thing. Very good thing. drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that stupid system before that stupid system gets out of you or takes everything from you. It's good at doing that too. All right, election. Voting machines are down in 3 red districts in the New Jersey election heats up. 3 red districts, which of course day of voting would be mostly people like, people on the conservative side of the fence. So isn't that a shock? 3 red districts in Cumberland County, New Jersey, the machines are down. So we know the FBI is looking into this stuff, by the way, too. I think there's somewhere something about that. Also, a bomb threat they're looking into as well. There was a bomb threat at several New Jersey polls, forcing closures and relocations. These were sent in by email. Literally. Someone just sent in something like 7, 8 emails and managed to get a whole bunch of polling locations shut down. Again, this is we're FBI is looking into this. Now, are these specific individuals? Are these actual countries? We'll find out. Is this messing with elections specifically? Yes. Is that extraordinarily illegal? Yes. I think they expected this, especially New York. In fact, these non-credible bomb threats were sent via email. 7 counties. Let's go ahead and play this.
Ainsley, Brian, and Lawrence, good morning once again, friends. Some brand new information coming into our newsroom that we've learned that these threats were communicated electronically via email to at least 7 different counties across the Garden State. These threats certainly being taken seriously, and out of abundance of caution, some of the polling places were temporarily either closed or suspended as they moved voters to different locations. And then as they were doing those searches, then either able to reopen some of the facilities. We got a statement from the Attorney General of New Jersey. I want to put it up on the screen for you. It says, law enforcement officers have responded at each affected polling place. Some of these polling locations have already reopened to the public. The polls in New Jersey opened at 6 a.m. sharp. We have not seen any added security in the last hour or so, but it is certainly possible that we could see more because at this polling facility right here behind me, we are going to be seeing the Democratic nominee for governor, Mikey Sherrill. She'll be out here with her family to cast her ballot, speak with reporters. Her campaign telling us they are aware of these threats, but no other official statements yet coming from Governor Murphy or as well as the Jack Ciattarelli campaign, the Republican nominee for governor. There is the question, of course, is whether or not this would have any impact on turnout. These threats were communicated fairly early in the morning, and as you could tell from the AG statement here, they wanted to get this cleared up as quickly as possible. They didn't want to see anybody delayed or to face any obstructions of getting a chance to cast their ballot.
Yeah, so again, I think people realized it was a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of hooey. Zohran Mamdani is listed twice on the ballot for today's New York City mayoral election, as well, by the way, as Sliwa. He's also listed twice. Cuomo's listed once, which people are bitching about. And if you notice, too, when they actually look at the ballot, I think he's down at the very bottom right or something like that. That's what they said. Cuomo's name is at the bottom right. Is that literally where? I can't see it. Where's the bottom right? Oh, is that? I see it there. Is there another one? Okay, that's probably what they're talking about. Yeah. Anyway, whatever the case is. What we understand, and this is from the Harvard Law Review and Ballot Access News, there's 2 distinct forms of fusion voting that exist. The first form, known as disaggregated or full fusion voting, is used in Connecticut and New York. What this is when we've got candidates that are listed on the ballot multiple times, once per party, if the candidate receives multiple nominations. Votes from the same candidate on each party line are added to produce the final vote tally for that candidate. So it creates some weirdness, but again, I'm not trying to justify it. It's a stupid idea, but it's what they do. New York City mayoral election. Again, FBI is investigating swatting incidents that they've had now. So again, a lot of just crazy stuff is happening. It's happening in oddly random oddly places that are Republican-ish, right? So, this idea that, it's basically the deep state will do anything they can to keep control, and they are desperately trying to take control of this election. What's going to happen, I don't know. How this is supposed to happen, the people are choosing, I think, to a large extent. I do know the deep state desperately wants Mamdani to win. all the Democrats, all the socialist Democrats want Mamdani to win. If he wins, then we know New York is still fully controlled. If he doesn't win, New York's screwed. And I mean in a good way. Like for the people of New York, you guys are stoked. From people like Kathy Hochul and some of the people like that, you're screwed. Especially having potentially Cuomo come in, being a former governor, and maybe having some bad beef with the chick that took over his job and maybe had a large role in him getting in trouble for what he did. Now, granted, he was groping people. I mean, you're not allowed to do that, but yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's a but there, but I mean, well, there was for him to grab. Oh, that was accidental, but still. 1 million New Yorkers say they will flee New York City if Mamdani wins today's mayoral race. If that literally happened, people talk tough all the time, but when push comes to shove, moving is not easy to do. Now, if you work in the city, it's way better to live outside of the city and then just travel in, take the subway or whatever you got to train or whatever you got to do. So, it is what it is. We'll see. Again, I'm not going to get ahead of myself on this one. I know they're going to do everything they can to cheat on this election. So, I'm hoping we've got some protections in place, but at the same time, I also acknowledge this could be important to show the world. Yeah, Mamdani is, it's just crazy. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Trump tells New York you must vote for Andrew Cuomo over Zohran Mamdani in the New York City election and ditch Curtis Sliwa. Basically says you're stupid or not smart or idiots. I forget what she said. He used pretty strong language to any Jew that would vote for Mamdani, who is obviously a Jew hater. There it is. He believes Mamdani is communist. He'll bankrupt. Whatever it was, his exact quote. More people have already voted in New York City's mayoral race than all of 2021, just hours to go. And this was as of 1:41 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm sitting at basically 3 hours later than that right now. I mean, literally, it's been 3 hours since that time occurred. It's like 1:20 Pacific Time right now. So, a lot of people are engaged in this vote. That is what I'm counting on. We'll see. We'll see. If enough people show up and put a legitimate vote in, it takes away all the bullshit votes. So if we were able to excite enough people, and I don't know how many New Yorkers I actually have in my audience, but we'll see. We'll find out. I pray that we're all hoping for a Democrat instead of this socialist, right? So whatever. That certainly maybe teaches us how to choose a lesser evil, which sounds bad, but considering some of what we're dealing with politically, might be necessary to get used to that concept for a little while. Donald Trump truthed this out. The unconstitutional redistricting vote in California is a giant scam in that the entire process, in particular the voting itself, is rigged. All mail-in ballots where the Republicans in that state are shut out is under very serious legal and criminal review. Stay tuned. I love it. I love the fact that there's some hope that we've got some people digging. And I've heard rumors, and it's not gotten loud, and I think some of it's because it needs to get closer and closer to the elections, and then it's going to be harder for California to undo or to legally stop or to... It's going to be very hard for them to back out of this problem that they've created for themselves. Candace Owens posted this, and she's referring to Paula Scanlon. Paula Scanlon says, take note of the people on this app. This didn't take time to talk about the elections tomorrow. Remember who actually works hard to help us win. And then Candace Owens responded to that and said, not voting until we learning the truth about who killed Charlie. Literally do not care how anybody feels about that, not lifting one finger. And that seems weird to me kind of, because I get it's important to know who killed Charlie Kirk, but to literally not vote for elections and stuff, that just seems weird. Weirdly, I don't know, whatever, and she's very much on this, Charlie was killed by Israel, so there's a lot of that going on. We're going to talk more about that coming up, and again, I don't give Israel free pass by any. We're going to talk about that. I got kind of a weird angle that I'm going to bring up just because it popped up into my world recently, and it was like a weird piece of scripture that popped up, and I'm like, okay, that's weird, because I've always had a hard time with the Israel's, the chosen people, but literally it was the family of Jacob, and then later on in Genesis that changes. God somehow, whoops, I didn't mean to name him Jacob. I meant to name him Israel. Like, that always felt weird to me. That felt like somewhere down the road because they wanted to say Israel's the chosen people. Israel. Anyway, we'll get there. I don't know, probably pissing people off. Not the first time, that's for sure. Probably not the last. Natural gas soars on incoming cold snap snow for the eastern U.S. I guess big Arctic cold air stuff going on. So if you guys are struggling with electric bills and affording it, heart goes out to you. Yeah. Again, we got bad leadership, and we need to change that. And these are the types of things, unfortunately. Pain causes people to change their minds, unfortunately. It sucks that we got to go through pain, but if you look at life and any of the lessons that you've ever learned in life, they've never come without pain. There's not one thing of importance you've learned in life that was pain-free. Not one. Every one of them had pain attached to it. There's not like you go to a happy birthday party and you're like, oh my God, I'm having such a great time. I learned the most important lesson ever. No, that's not how it works. Attorney General Pam Bondi put this out. Our newly unsealed complaint reveals a major ISIS-linked terror plot with multiple suspects arrested in the Eastern District of Michigan targeting the United States. According to the complaint, subjects had multiple AR-15 rifles, tactical gear, and a detailed plan to carry out an attack on American soil. Thanks to the extraordinary diligence of our U.S. attorneys Jerome Gorgon Jr., the FBI, and state and local law enforcement officers, this plot was stopped before innocent lives were lost. Our American heroes prevented a terror attack. This is one of the cells they're talking about. Now, I think we've got a better idea of what these cells are. I think there's probably a few more of these things that happen from time to time. But understand that this wouldn't have happened in the Biden administration. We never would have found this guy. They would have gotten their attack off. They would have used it to take away weapons, or they would have used this to kill a whole bunch of people and create terror. Whatever their plan was, that was where they're going to go. They weren't allowed to. We're not playing those games. Judge sets trial for the ex-DOJ staffer who pelted the CPB agent with the sandwich. He went all Heisman on him. Hit the dude with the sandwich. Dude's actually going to go to court. They try to drop the case, and they're like, what? No, they think this is a slam dunk case. Our side thinks it's, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he assaulted an individual with the sandwich. Outside of that, if the guy, I don't think he necessarily have to serve any time. I mean, maybe, but he did assault a federal officer. But again, it is with the sandwich. Spitting to me is worse than a sandwich. Like, sandwich doesn't necessarily have like disease in it, like spattle can, right? So, but again, you can't do that. So, Comey's boomerang. He's screwed. There's a whole lot that's coming around this. And James Comey's, he's bummed. A whole bunch of new evidence is showing that the ex-FBI director hoped to please Hillary Clinton, cheered on media leaks he claimed he did not sanction, and wrote emails and notes that directly conflict with his past congressional testimony. Part of that unflattering portrait of Comey, prosecutors revealed Monday, came from long-hidden files that the new FBI director, Kash Patel, found in burn bags and secret storage rooms at the Bureau's headquarters. Evidence included proof that Comey used a private email account to conduct FBI matters, including media strategy with a top lieutenant. At the same time, his agency was probing Clinton for improperly using her own private email for government business. Comey wrote, perhaps you can make him smarter, in regards to the special government employee Daniel Richman, in which the two discussed trying to influence a New York Times reporter about his coverage of the Clinton email scandal. Prosecutors made clear such evidence will be used to try to show at trial that Comey misled Congress when he denied authorizing staff to anonymously leak or talk to reporters. Consistent with the above described correspondence, Richman corresponded extensively with members of the media regarding or on behalf of the defendant, including in an anonymous capacity. The cache of documents also includes September 2016 handwritten notes in which Comey appears to address U.S. intelligence intercepts about Clinton planning to manufacture a Russian scandal against Trump, something he told senators he did not recall knowing. Comey did not immediately respond to a request for comment, but it was sent to him through his lawyers. Now, again, they were trying to drop the charges. They were trying to say it was politically motivated. It's not. don't need to read all that, but yeah. So there's a lot that's going to be coming out, and Comey's screwed. He's screwed. From what we're understanding, the evidence is so strong against him that he's got no chance in hell, and that's why the grand jury came to the conclusions they came to. Dude, there's handwritten notes. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff that goes exactly against what he told Congress. He lied, straight up. He knew he lied. He totally lied. He's a lying liar, pants on fire, is what he is. Pam Bondi also posted this. During the Arctic frost investigation, we found that special counsel seized President Trump's government-issued phone. This means the Biden administration turned over President Trump's phone to special counsel, an unprecedented action. In addition, special counsel subpoenaed all of President Trump's personal phone records. We can never again allow this kind of government weaponization in America. I submitted these new documents to our partners on Capitol Hill. I commend our team at the FBI for working diligently to expose this. Now, a lot of people are pissed that Microsoft has hired the Arctic frost prosecutor. And so he's getting this big cushy tech job. Some people are afraid they're going to use Microsoft's abilities to spy via this individual. Maybe. I don't think Microsoft would be willing to do that. But there is a call right now to have this dude fired from Microsoft because of the fact that there are security issues at stake. And this guy is known to not be trustworthy. So we'll see what happens. How that moves forward. Hopefully we can get rid of him. Judge Janine's apparently having a little bit of a disagreement with Kash Patel. Kash Patel wanted to fire 4 individuals in the FBI from D.C., and Judge Janine is basically blocking it for the meantime, at least, and saying these individuals are involved in cases, and that would hamper progress on those ongoing cases. We'll see what happens on how this plays out. Kash Patel is, I don't know, he's had his moments with Bondi and had his moments with others. And I mean, he strikes me as someone that wants to do things a lot faster. I mean, Dan Bongino is probably why we don't hear anything from him, because he's just constantly pissed off. So we'll see. But yeah, I think Janine is doing what's probably right in the big picture. Hopefully Kash sees that. We'll find out. DHS slams Illinois bill to create safe zones for illegals facing ICE arrests. The Illinois General Assembly just passed this ridiculous HB 1312, a misguided attempt to obstruct law and order. This bill undermines community safety by providing sanctuary to criminals at civic centers and other locations statewide. Our brave law enforcement officers will not be slowed down by obstructionist legislation. The deportations will continue. Transportation Secretary Duffy, we are going to go after these commercial driver's license mills. I'm telling you, CDL, always a California driver's license in my mind. So it's I always got to translate it. But commercial driver's license. And yeah, they're going after these mills, these ones that are pumping out bunches of these that aren't actually verifying whether people can speak English. And yeah, they're shutting it down. Big time. 120 illegal aliens were arrested in Houston Street all in one day. Or I'm sorry, is it Houston Street? Nah, I'm kidding, it's in Texas. It's Houston Street. Or Houston Streets. This is the one thing that bugged me about New York. I was on the subway and they were like Houston Street, and I'm like, the dude just mispronounced Houston. Well, how weird is that? And then he said it again. I'm like, that's not mispronounced. That's how they pronounce it. Holy crap! It's spelled the same way. Whatever. Makes no sense to me. None. Zero. We've probably because it was a bunch of Irish people are the ones that taught us how to pronounce it. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know who the Puerto Ricans. When you're a jet, you're a jet. And you say Houston. I don't friggin' know. Oh, yeah, so 120 illegal aliens were arrested on Texas roadways in the greater Houston area in a single-day operation. This was late hours, October 29th. So, yeah, a bunch of people arrested. Obviously pisses people off, but makes many more of us, I should say, happy. Democratic Louisiana mayor indicted for using city funds to solicit, prostitute, and pay off personal legal debts. There you go. That's how you do that. He got busted, misused a bunch of taxpayer funds to pay for personal legal debt. Bogalusa, huh? That's the name of your city. Interesting. Dude that you guys elected's last name is Truong in Bogalusa. I pray to God the people on this planet, we can wake you all up enough. Oh, my Lord. God help us all. Alice Tang, I hope I get to listen to you. Trump's considering ending the vehicle congestion fee. I want my very dear, lovely, good, close, personal friend. I've got secrets, lots of them. Alice Tang.
President Trump is considering asking Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy to terminate New York City's vehicle congestion fee. A district judge in May issued a preliminary injunction preventing the Transportation Department from withholding federal funding from New York. Duffy told New York Governor Kathy Hochul in April that the department could withhold federal funds if the state did not end congestion pricing. Trump criticized Hochul on Truth Social. The president posted, quote, "New York City is getting killed by her ridiculous congestion pricing, where people have to pay a fortune to come into Manhattan, so they just don't come." The first in the nation program was launched in January. Most passenger vehicles face a $9 fee during peak periods to enter Manhattan south of the 60th Street. Hochul has said tourism and businesses have increased in New York City because the fee is reducing traffic.
So yes, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's a stupid idea. And mainly, I think the argument is the roads are already they're already paid for, and so charging tax on roads that you essentially didn't build is kind of weird, right? Because it's not they're not toll roads that were built for that purpose. They're literally roads that were built federally with federal money and are now being taxed as if they're private roads. I don't think that's legal, at least from a federal standpoint, if the federal government doesn't agree with it, which Trump doesn't. So something to keep in mind on that point. Healthy Home, incredible products. And I got a new advertiser, by the way, that's similar. They've only got, they got one product, and it's really cool. We're going to get there, but very excited about it. I'm getting my shipment here in the next couple days, and we'll give it a go. And I think you guys are going to be stoked. Especially if any of you out there that might be interested in losing weight, or any of you out there that are diabetic. We're seeing huge results, big time. And it's, again, the way I prefer to do it. You're going to lose weight at a healthy pace, and you're going to see your numbers come down at a healthy pace, but you're going to see the numbers come down, and that's what's important. Now, when it comes to Healthy Home, these guys are freaking awesome. They got like 5 products that are just magic. The stem cell products they have, first off, they're not putting stem cells in you, because those usually come from fetal cells. It's pretty gross. These actually are pills that are, or liquid, that causes your own body to produce more stem cells, 25 to 40%, just boom, right out of the gate. Stem cells are androgynous cells. They're cells that can become any cell in the body. They're whatever. They're like, oh my God, I'm free and wild. And then all of a sudden, the lungs need a cell. When the lungs are like, we need help. And so stem cells run in there, and then they become a lung cell. And forever, they're a lung cell. They'll never be a stem cell again. They'll never be any other cell. They are now a lung cell. Stem cells are what heal your body. You need repairs. You need new tissue cells. You need new muscle cells. You need new skin cells, new bone cells, right? You need new cells. Stem cells are how that happens, your body's natural mechanism. This creates more of them. As we age, we produce less of them. And you see that person that eventually gets to that age and they just start to like shrivel, right? That's because they're going downhill at that point. Make your downhill happen way later. Give yourself a better chance at it. Stem cells are the key. Again, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Stem Active is your magic. There's pills or there's a gel, however you prefer. I like the pills. It's just easier. I've taken the gel. It's all right. I don't know. It's just easier. The pills, I take the cap off, I pop 2 in my hand, done. The gel, I got to take the top off and try to get it all out, right? And then I got to throw the thing away. I don't know. I like the pills. Some people don't like pills, though, right? Whatever. Balance is bringing a lot of balance back to many people's lives. Relationships, too, by the way. There's 2 sides to the relationship frequently, and the other side of the relationship sometimes has a hard time with these moments in life where our hormones are out of control, right? And I say we like I'm somehow a part of this, but supposedly it works on dudes. I don't know. I'm not quite there yet. But women, you've got 2 different parts of your lives where hormones are just ridiculously crazy, right? And you guys will agree with me on this. I'm not saying something that, I'm not trying to claim something here. But when you head into the child-producing years, 12, 13, whenever that is, right? Around there. That's a crazy time for women. Girls, women, whatever. You're a woman now, I guess. And when you guys leave the child-producing years, that's also hormonally a very difficult time. Balance is something that's helping women all over the place find that comfort. Again, plant-based. It's not hormone therapy. If you're already receiving hormone therapy, and I talked to 2 different women about this in the same phone call, they were both receiving the hormone therapy, And one of them actually liked it, worked well for her. She started taking balance. It was just even better, like even better. The other one didn't like the hormone therapy. It didn't work for her. She didn't like it. I don't remember the reasons, but she started using balance, and that solved everything for her. They talk about how many clicks are you using? 1, 2, or 3. I guess you could use more if you want. But it's how many clicks or pumps that it has. If you're using 1 click a day, this balance will probably last you 3 months. If you're using 3 clicks a day, you'll probably blow through it in about a month. But what people are noticing is they're starting to have to go down on their clicks. They don't not have to, but you don't need as much. So as you've moved through this and you've found your balance point, you actually will dial it in. And maybe you only need 2 clicks. Maybe some days you need just 1. But you put it, so transdermal lotion, you put it on your wrist, you rub your wrists together, and you are going to feel balance. And they feel it almost immediately after taking it. Again, no hormones in it. It's plant-based stuff. It's completely vegan and all that good stuff. It's very, very healthy, and it works amazingly. Speaking of MMAs, collagen. You got sagging skin. You got joint discomfort, any of that kind of stuff. Hair growth. Hair's falling out. You worried about that? What about your fingernails? Collagen. That's it. And it's a peptide, so it's the smallest little molecule of that collagen that you can get. So your body almost immediately absorbs it. The collagen peptide's incredible. Amaze is awesome. Prime is one that expands your blood vessels. Nitric oxide booster, well, actually allows more oxygen, I should say, in your blood vessels, right? It kind of feels like you're expanding them, really, but you're just getting more oxygen, and so you got more energy. It's surprising. So people that work out, people that are going to be hanging with the grandkids, and you just out in general, kind of active, you'll be surprised. You'll feel more energy. It's great stuff. And of course, Stem Active for pets. Same problem with pets, right? As they age, they lose their stem cells. This is a chewable that will help them do exactly what you're doing with yours. Going to get you longer life, longer longevity. It's going to help you through the hard times when you need to heal. It's great stuff. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. And take care of yourself. Be healthy, think healthy, and health will find you. That's how it works. That's how manifesting works in general. RFK Jr., he announces that Freddie Mercury will no longer be in vaccines.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I send my greetings to all the distinguished delegates of the Mnemonic Convention. I had hoped to be with you today, but the government shutdown means that I couldn't do that. The Mnemonic Convention was born from a shared moral conviction that no human being should suffer from exposure to mercury. You came together to protect future generations from this potent neurotoxin, and I'm looking forward to continued progress. Article 4 of the convention calls on parties to cut mercury use by phasing out listed mercury-added products. But in 2010, as the treaty took shape, negotiators made a major exception. Thimerosal-containing vaccines were carved out of the regulation. The same treaty that began to phase out mercury in lamps and cosmetics chose to leave it in products injected into babies, pregnant women, and the most vulnerable among us. We have to ask why. Why do we hold a double standard for mercury? Why do we call it dangerous in batteries, in over-the-counter medications and makeup, but acceptable in vaccines and dental fillings? Thimerosal is a mercury-based preservative that has never undergone proper safety testing in humans. Hundreds of peer-reviewed studies identify it as a potent neurotoxin, a mutagen, a carcinogen, and an endocrine disruptor. Thimerosal's own label requires it to be treated as hazardous material and warns against ingestion. There is not a single study that proves it's safe. That's why in July of this year, the United States closed the final chapter on the use of thimerosal as a vaccine preservative, something that should have happened years ago. I want to be clear, it's inexcusable that governments around the world still allow mercury-based compounds in healthcare when safe alternatives exist. Now that America has removed mercury from all vaccines, I call on every global health authority and every party to this convention to do the same. Manufacturers have confirmed that they can produce mercury-free, single-dose vaccines without interrupting supply. There is no excuse for inaction or holding stubbornly to the status quo. Let's honor and protect humanity and our children and creation from mercury, and let's act in the true spirit of the Mnemonic Convention, the integrity of this historic treaty, and to ensure that no child anywhere in the world is ever exposed to this deadly neurotoxin again. Thank you.
I wish you could talk better. Such a bummer. Danish cattle dropping like flies after the government mandates this methane enzyme inhibitor. It's literally causing cows to, well, become inactive, to have less production and to die. This is this thing that was meant to keep the enzyme in the body from creating the methane. The problem is, part of that is the digestion of the foods inside the cows. That process requires the production of methane. Not that they need it. It just means that digestion's happening. Cows have like multiple stomachs, all this weird stuff. Whatever the case is, they're able to digest grass. Very few animals can. Grass is just a weird thing, right? It's not really super helpful, but to many grazing animals, they have the stomachs that are able to digest it. So by using this bovaer to stop that, because they want to worry about global warming and cow farts, they're literally killing cows. Killing them. Like literally, production levels have gone way down, and literally they are losing cows. So the Danish are probably going to consider something different, I would think. UK politicians want to make protesting them a jailable offense. Oh, man. UK, you guys are screwed if you guys don't figure out a way. I mean, I don't know how and what to do to help you guys. You guys obviously can't talk, but I don't know. Yeah, you guys got to get pissed, really pissed or something. I don't know. It's craziness. Tiffany Meyer, I love this chick for a lot of reasons, but one, it's funny because like Alice Tang, I just love the way they practice the pronunciation, and you can tell she forces herself to make her mouth make the movements. I just think it's adorable. I love it. I don't know what it is. Tiffany Meyer, I don't know. She doesn't seem to have to work as hard at it. She almost feels like she was brought up speaking English, but then when she pronounces Chinese words, dude, it's just like, chick, what is, like, you are magic. Anyway, whatever the case is, it's pretty cool. But she's talking about Trump in this, and what was the point of this article? I forget. Nuclear tests, that's right. So the idea of these nuclear tests and what's going on and why they're going on, maybe a little more complex, but she does a good little bit on this. Check it out.
Are two of the world's major nuclear forces, Russia and China, testing their arsenals? President Trump says yes, and that's why he's ordering the U.S. to move forward with its own nuclear testing. Trump appeared to hint that there is more information on the issue being kept from the public during his Sunday interview on 60 Minutes. Take a listen.
So why do we need to test our nuclear weapons?
Well, because you have to see how they work.
But the only country that's testing nuclear weapons is North Korea. China and Russia are not.
No, Russia's testing nuclear weapons.
My understanding
and China's testing them too. You just don't know about it.
That would be certainly very newsworthy.
President Trump named 4 countries who are doing nuclear testing: China, Russia, North Korea, and Pakistan. He pointed to the state-controlled media in these countries, saying that's why people remain unaware about these nuclear tests.
They test way underground where people don't know exactly what's happening with the test. You feel a little bit of a vibration. They test, and we don't test. We have to test. We have the best, and I was the one that renovated them and built them during a 4-year period. And I hated to do it because the destructive capability is something you don't even want to talk about. But if other people are going to have them, we're going to have them. And if we have them, we have to test them. Otherwise, you don't really know how they're going to work. And we don't want to ever use them.
President Trump floated the idea of resuming nuclear testing last Thursday, right before he sat down with Chinese regime leader Xi Jinping. Since then, Russia and China both denied Trump's claims that they are conducting nuclear tests. But media reports have found Russia and China quietly expanding their nuclear test sites in recent years. And one of the sites is in China's Lopnor, a dried-up salt lake located in western China's deserts of Xinjiang. Based on satellite images, analysts warned 2 years ago that China had possibly built at least 6 testing tunnels in the region. They suspect Beijing's goal was to, quote, conduct subcritical nuclear tests. Beyond that, China has also dug some of the deepest holes on Earth in the same region, Xinjiang. Beijing claims these projects are for scientific research, but some are questioning whether these holes could be used for underground weapon testing. We tapped retired Marine Colonel Grant Yusham and senior fellow at the Center for Security Policy for his insights.
The Chinese have always looked at nuclear weapons as just one tool to be used. Those holes that you've mentioned, these are sort of launch sites. Basically in the western deserts in China. And they've built quite a few hundred of these. And if you figure out that each one of these can hold more than one, maybe the Chinese have more nuclear weapons than anyone thinks. It could be that they already have a lot more than they think, and they build them for a reason. And it is intimidation, but also, if necessary, to use them.
Yeah, exactly. And again, our friggin' Chinese words are so good. It's craziness. Anyway, U.S. Energy Secretary reveals details about nuclear weapons tests. He says these tests right now, these are not necessarily about the nuclear explosion. They're not as worried about that. These are called what they call non-critical explosions, Wright said. What this has to do with, to a large extent, is whether this will still deliver the appropriate geometry to set up the nuclear explosion. Not that I'm an expert, but In a nutshell, you take an amount of uranium or plutonium, whichever, and other stuff oftentimes, right? And you've got it shaped in such a specific way, usually kind of almost like a soccer ball, kind of, if you will, which there's some funniness to Trump handing the soccer ball. And then you have explosives that are put all around, almost like where every little plate on the soccer ball is, right? Little, whatever those are, little squares, or, well, they're not squares, but octagon, hexagons, whatever those are, right? Where every one of those are, you've got a separate explosion that happens right there, a charge. And you get these charges to all fire at the exact same moment. And what that does is it causes the plutonium to shoot in on itself. Just blah, and it causes it to become supercritical. And when it does, it explodes out and causes, atoms to smash into atoms and other things. So it's very important to get that geometry right and to make sure that still works properly. So I think a lot of what this has to do with is the triggering systems and maybe some other stuff around that. I mean, again, not an expert, and I've about as much as publicly available, I think. But nuclear technology it's a lot more than just having the uranium. You've got to be able to, one, shape it appropriately, which is hard to do. And then you need to be able to actually smash it in on itself appropriately, or it doesn't go critical. Very important to do all those things correctly. And it's very critical to know how long do these triggers last before they don't do that properly anymore. We've got a bunch that are in varying ages and varying states of decay, if you will. So it's fun to be able to test those. We've got a 30-year-old nuke. Let's go test that bad boy. Since we've got to replace it with a new one anyway, let's find out how adequate the stuff is that we got. So that's what a lot of this is. We're just testing stuff at varying stages, and if it works properly, cool. If it doesn't, we need to swap out those triggers on all that older stuff if we want to use it or keep using it. Otherwise, let's disassemble it and maybe, use this some other way. All said. Stuff's fascinating to me. Mexican's president declines aid following mayor's assassination. We got that mayor that was shot out there in the Uruapan in Michoacan. Yeah, not good. He was killed by the cartels, best we understand. Trump obviously offered to help. They don't want our help, but that's what she's saying, and that's what she would have to say. Otherwise, the cartels will kill her. I don't think she's actually in bed with the cartels. I think she's got to play the game or she will die. So I think the cartels own Mexico, and Trump's going to help with that. The Trump administration has begun detailed planning for a new mission to send American troops and intelligence officers alongside covert elements of the CIA into Mexico to target drug cartels, potentially involving both ground operations and drone strikes against suspected drug manufacturing facilities, cartel members, and leaders, according to reports by NBC. What a lot of this is meant to do is to freak these people out, too. So right now in Venezuela and Colombia and now in Mexico, we've got a lot of these drug cartel members that are very nervous about what's right above them or whether or not they're sleeping in the bunker below. And that's annoying to know that you can't really go out anymore because right now you're literally hunted. That affects people. You can't live like that for a long period of time, or you literally just have to commit to living like that forever. And not all these people can do that. The good ones do. The ones that are harder to get will. But we'll still find them. I don't think there's a bunker deep enough that they can get into that we probably can't hit. U.S. designates Nigeria country of particular concern after Trump threats over the alleged attacks on a Christian. So we've literally changed the status of that country. This isn't quite yet a status to say we're going to war with you. But what it is it's a status to Nigeria that we are close to doing that. And all we got to do is change the status one more time. And it's basically letting the world know, yeah, this is what's up. This is where we're at. They're killing Christians. We ain't cool with that. And you guys want to get involved and get them to stop doing it? Cool. If not, we'll take care of it. Don't you worry. That's what we do. Now, again, is this a war? No. Lockheed Martin's going high-tech, folks. It's actually pretty high-tech in all reality. It's I'm just teasing because it's a blimp. Or a dirigible. Yeah, that sounds much cooler, doesn't it? Dirigible. It is a blimp, and they're using these tethered blimps in Puerto Rico. They're putting all sorts of crazy arrays on them. This is probably actually a picture from the location. They got really long string. It goes really high up in the air, and it just stays tethered. It just floats. but it's using radar for miles and miles and miles. Miles and miles. If it's flat Earth, how come it's not all the way out to Antarctica? Again, just something. I know, I'm pissing people off. Not trying to, just one of those many things where I'm like, yeah, there's just certain things that don't add up. Don't add up. I know. The same, you guys have a hard time with other things that don't add up. I get you. I don't know for sure. It might be flat. It might be round. I think it's round, but I don't know. I'm going to do an experiment with the dude in Australia. We're going to try actually see if we can do something cool on camera and see. Theoretically, they should go in different directions if the Coriolis effect's correct, right? So we're going to test that. We're going to give it a test. I've got a buddy down there, Dirty Q. He's dirty, and he's Q-shaped, and he talks funny because he's an Aussie, mate. Just want to remind you guys, post 9/16, we're saving Israel for last. Very specific reason, not mentioned a single time, nor will it ever be. Why? Because, well, can't be talked about. It'll happen as it happens. Israel knows why. We know why. But the public really doesn't. And there's a lot of religious implications and all sorts of strange stuff around this. Now, again, in the Bible, it says Israel is God's chosen people. Now, if you've read any, like Biglino, I don't want to show this particular book because the title of it might offend some people, but his Naked Bible book is incredible. The Naked Bible, highly recommend that book. Can't recommend it enough. And it's not going to make you hate anything. It's just there's some very key words that are mistranslated. Elohim happens to be one of them. Yahweh happens to be one of the Elohim, or an El. So he's very specific Elohim, one of the members. There's many Elohim. They were responsible for different areas of the planet, is what we understand is how they broke it up. So this whole idea that Yahweh is the one chosen God and all of his people are the chosen people is really a reflection of their individual relationship, not necessarily the rest of the world. So Israel's sort of kind of taken advantage of things for a long time. Now, is Israel necessarily the problem? No, not Israel proper. The concept, I think, kind of is. It goes back to the Khazarians. I think it's another way they've actually stolen identities and run with them. And one that I think they stole was the name Jacob. I think they literally stole it and made it Israel. And they just changed the verse in the Bible, and pretty much from that point forward, they made it such. Now, again, I'm not trying to step on toes. I apologize to all the people that are hardcore Bibles, never been messed with. Okay, whatever. It's cool. Like, I'm not trying to fight with you. I love you. And then this is probably not the favorite thing you're ever going to hear. But what I did find interesting, and again, it hit me. I was reading it in, I think, Biglino's third book that I've read of his. I really like it. I'm almost done with the book. And there was this quote that I read, and it was from Mark. And I'm like, wow, it's Jesus saying this. And Jesus knew the Old Testament. Jesus would have known any changes. God was wrong at some point and said, oh, no, it's not Jacob, it's Israel. He would think Jesus would have known that change that his father made, or that he made. You know, many say they're the same. So he made this change. He changed their name from Jacob to Israel for whatever reason. It's not really described, but I think they say you just need faith. So here's the quote. I'm not trying to be a dick at all. This is just part of my evolution and my growth and my learning. Some of the questions I ask. So Mark chapter 12, verse 25 to 27, of the King James. For when they shall rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels which are in heaven. And as touching the dead, that they rise, have ye not read in the book of Moses, how in the bush God spake unto him, saying, I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He is not the God of the dead, but the God of the living. Ye, therefore, do greatly err. And the point of this had more to do with the fact that in many cases Jesus was here for the living, not necessarily those of the dead, and he didn't really ever speak of the dead. Kind of one of the things that was a little strange about some of his teachings, yet we've kind of added stuff, especially if you get into like the Living Bible and some of these other great versions of it that just, you know, they didn't really care so much about translations as much as what they thought the message was. But I did find it interesting that they're quoting specifically these same names, God of Jacob specifically, just to jump to the skirmish there. So Israel's the chosen people. I don't know. I don't know if that's really true. Now, again, I'm not anti-Israeli. I'm not pro-Israeli. I am pro-Jewish people. I got some very good friends that are Jewish, like everybody always says, right? Like the guy that I bought this house from is Jewish. He's been over to my house since. He's a lovely man. I absolutely adore him. He's a wonderful man. Maurice, if you're listening, thank you, bro. You're a sweetheart. You're just such a good guy. But Israel doesn't get a free pass. And there's this weird, I don't know if that broad brush is fitting or not. I'm not going to pretend to understand. I'm just putting all this stuff out there because there's a lot of people that are very anti-Israel. And they're like, they can be put into the anti-Semite category. And I think it's very important to be specific and not to use a broad brush, or at least if you do, to try to qualify. I don't have a problem with Jewish people. I don't even have a problem with anyone that's truly of faith. I have a problem with the probably the Khazarian aspect, the cancer, the deep state that exists within the Jewish religion, the Catholic religion, the Christian religion, any religion, Islamic, Muslim, all of them, all the religions have a deep state component to them. Everything's been infiltrated. It's up to you and I as individuals to actually assess what's right, what's correct, what's okay. It really doesn't matter what Candace Owens says, what Tucker Carlson says, what Alex Jones says, what Netanyahu says. It doesn't matter what any of these people say. Really. It matters what you think. And it doesn't necessarily matter to anybody else what you think, but it matters to you what you think. And that is really the key, is you. The deep state's always been going after you as an individual, you specifically. They want to control your thoughts. They want to put you in a prison, a shock collar, if you will. They want you to believe certain things so you don't stray off the reservation, so you don't go looking for the ice wall, if you will. And I'm not trying to be a dick on that, just probably a good example, right? They don't want you straying. Why is that? That's the important part. So they do it through a lot of mechanisms. Religion is definitely one of them. In fact, the first one. And then they've tried to build entire civilizations around religions, and they found that actually stopped working because they had people coming from other places when trade started. And that kind of fucked everything up. So they had to come up with something else. They got into heavy laws, wars, all sorts of things. So again, getting us to fight each other, getting us to hate each other, getting us to say my God's better than your God, my Elohim's better than your, or my El is better than your El. It's all, frankly, bullshit. There is one God, the Almighty, the Creator. Might have a few nicknames, but a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, as Shakespeare would say. So my point for a lot of this, Mark Levin pissed off. Let me step back on this. So CAG Drago, who's very much like anti-Israel. I don't mean anti-Israel. I don't want to say that like that. He's a good guy, I think, for the most part. He's one of our peeps. But he's trying to bring the attention to Israeli money being brought in. And that's the point of this entire post. So he goes, just a reminder that only one foreign government has a babysitter designated to each of our political representatives, overseeing every action they make. Nearly 100% of our politicians have an AIPAC guy. Who do you think's pushing Marjorie Taylor Greene right now? Now, has she probably done something wrong? An AIPAC or PAC guy knows? Probably. She's done. So General Flynn goes, this is called foreign interference in the United States political system. Every member of the House and Senate should be asked directly, do you have an AIPAC handler? And then, of course, Mark Levin chimes in, who's with Fox, who is definitely part of the establishment, unquestionably. Now, I'm not going to speak up for Flynn or anybody else, But Mark Levin is definitely part of the establishment. Guaranteed. Nice guy. I've watched his show a bunch. Seems really smart. Constitutional law, this, that, and the other thing. Fantastic. Sure. Great. Wonderful. Trump loves him. Again, Trump can't save Israel for last. Save Israel for last. Got to keep that in mind, guys. This is not easy. So many people don't get that. Why is Trump saying this and that and that? Because he has to. He's not just talking to the 10% of us or 20% of us that are actually awake. He's talking to everybody. So Mark Levin chiming in. Wow, who knew? At a time like this, they're coming out of the closet. Even some you'd never expect. You mean like you, Mark? Again, save Israel for last. Here's Tucker Carlson chatting with this dude. I've listened to him before. They're good. He's well-spoken. These guys do a good job. Anyway, check it out.
People like Ben Shapiro and Josh Hammer and Ted Cruz, all these people, like they think in terms of groups. And that's what Levin said to me. It's like, my group, people are hurting my group. And it's like, if your group means your family, people you love, I get it. But if you're thinking purely in terms of your ethnic group, which is what he is saying, then you inevitably become very hateful toward other ethnic groups, actually. Yeah. And in Ben's line about Ron Paul, who's like totally committed to nonviolence, by the way, you see that hatred. And so it does, I don't like it. I'll just get right to it. I'm not afraid, personally. I'm not going to talk. I didn't grow up like in the world that, Seth Dillon grew up in, where you were encouraged to like talk about yourself all the time. Narcissism was a true sin. I never talk about, I try not to talk about myself in general, but I know a lot about, people trying to hurt me, been there in a real way, and which I've never talked about, not going to talk about now, but I'll just say, I know what that is. And I know that, people like Seth Dillon or Ben Shapiro, they get a lot out of wearing bulletproof vests and like, oh, I'm so under attack and all that stuff. And it's like, the truth is they are openly pro-violence. So how in the world could you justify killing tens of thousands of children or justify a pager attack, which is an act of terrorism where you indiscriminately blowing people's genitals off? You don't know who's holding the pager and you're celebrating it. What are you celebrating? You're celebrating violence. And they celebrate violence day after day. That's where their foreign policy comes from. That's where their worldview is. Strangling the neck of a Jew. Who even thinks that way? Someone who's thinking very often in violent terms. And so, and hateful terms. That's hate. And so people like that, when aroused to hysteria, and I feel sorry for them, and I just want to say that again, Lindsey Graham, another violence worshiper, like the idea that they're promoting violence. Well, they've been promoting violence for decades because this whole project is about violence. It's about the thrill that they feel killing their enemies, the godlike power they imagine they have when they extinguish human life. That's the whole game for them. And we shouldn't you're not promoting violence? Oh, you're definitely promoting violence. And that's why I oppose you.
Everybody, you reap what you sow. I don't care where you come from. I don't care who you are. I don't care at all. If you foment violence, if you celebrate violence, if you appreciate violence, if you are constantly anti-other groups, those seeds you sow will be reaped upon you. You will pay that price, locally, within, outside your front door. If peace and love and all that is what's coming inside of your heart, that is what you will sow outside your front door. It is that simple. So be careful what you pollute your mind with, literally. Just watching negative thoughts, I'm just curious what the negative people are saying, pollutes your mind with negativity. Period. I don't care how you justify it. I don't care what you tell yourself to make yourself believe it's justified to do that. That is exactly what you are doing. The choice is always yours. The evolution of your soul is yours. I mean, for many of you, you believe the judgment time will be when it will matter, and okay, think that way, fine. It's a little different than that. There is a judgment, but it's not done the way most people think. But let's save that for another show. Israel charges Lebanon in dragging its feet on disarming Hezbollah. Israel still wants to attack and fight. That's what they've done as long as they've existed. Fight everyone. Everyone wants to kill us, so we'll kill everyone. Yeah, you're keeping that anger alive, and that anger just doesn't go away. I'm not blaming Israel. I'm not blaming the other side. I'm blaming both of them. You won't stop having violence until you stop having violent thoughts. You won't. You might have to take one attack, but you can't stop violence by having violent thoughts. You can't. It will never go away. So Israel wants to keep going. I haven't seen this yet, but I know a lot of you guys. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen the movie, but I haven't seen the trailer either. I'm hoping it's good. It's a minute 52. I think it's probably worth it. It's Climate Trails, and it's coming out on Amazon. And I think a lot of us have Amazon because they got rid of Netflix because they fucking suck. Prime hasn't done it yet, and hopefully they don't. God, I hope they don't.
When the threats started coming, I realized I needed to leave. And again, I had no plan. I had no job. I was very scared, and I came out in a time that I knew, regardless of what happened to me, I was going to be on the right side of history.
You can no longer call something a conspiracy theory when Harvard, Bill Gates, and a CIA director are all calling for these programs to start.
We have barium and strontium and aluminum and nanoparticles. I think some of these technically incompetent politicians don't understand what a nanoparticle is.
Don't you want to breathe clean air?
What I do see is massive evidence that we are exposed to an immense chemical soup of man-made poisons.
It's going into our water supply, it's going into our nose, it's going into our mouth, it's settling on our skin.
If you just take the time to look up, it becomes undeniable.
We the people have not consented to being test subjects.
Your own government's doing it.
They're spraying us like bugs, like cockroaches. That doesn't raise any flags? That doesn't make you think? Scratch your head? What's going on?
Poof! There's all the aluminum over this concentrated area.
You have everyone looking up at the sky. I mean, it's literally over our heads.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm going to be honest. One thing we don't look into, and again, I don't disagree with the chemtrail stuff. I don't think there's necessarily. I don't think it's like it used to be. I think it's changed a lot, and I think there's many different forms of chemtrails. So again, I don't think it's as simple as most people make. Everyone likes to make things really simple. It's just this or that, and it's just like, no, they exist for sure. There's so many different reasons for them. There's many different kinds of them with different chemicals in them. One thing I'm curious about, though, it just made me think, and I'll probably dig into this a little bit. But I wonder if barium or aluminum exist in regular gas for cars, or diesel would be my other guess. Any of you guys feel free to check. I mean, I do know in small amounts those chemicals do exist in jet fuel, but do those chemicals exist in regular gasoline? And if so, the fact that we've got it all over our soils everywhere could have a lot more to do with that. They're trying to poison us for sure, but they don't necessarily, I don't know. Again, I don't know. We'll find out. But if there is aluminum and stuff like that in regular gasoline, that could be where a lot of this stuff's coming from. Again, they've got us leaning in the wrong direction. That's typically what, like whenever everybody goes in one direction, that's how it's just for me, I can't help it. It's like the Comet 3i Atlas. When everybody leans into a direction, I'm like, okay, that can't be right. Because everybody's never right. Never is everybody right. Not once in my lifetime has everybody been right. When most everybody starts believing a certain thing, I know for sure it's wrong. And then it's just like, okay. And so, the confusion begins, and that's how it works. So everybody's really starting to lean in a direction right now, and I feel like they're leaning us into something that's not totally accurate. Yes, there's chemtrails, I'm not arguing, but I think they're maybe a little different. I think there's something else going on that's actually probably worse, and they're just trying to blame it on planes or something weird at this point. Dick Cheney dead at age 84. I feel like that was the dude he shot in the face. I'm not sure if that's true or not. 84 years old. Again, heart goes out to his family and anybody that's been involved. I've heard a lot of interesting stories about him. In fact, Juan Saban's actually spoken like he, eventually became good in some weird way, or somebody was saying that. I don't know if I can believe that, but again, and his daughter is, I mean, I'd say the spawn of Satan, but Liz Cheney is a horrible human being too. And again, I mean no disrespect to your family. I'm sorry, guys, that you've lost these people that you love and they matter to you. So my prayers and my heart goes out to you for your loss. To the rest of my audience, wow, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. Dick Cheney's an interesting one. Again, some of these guys were controlled by people above him. So I don't hate individuals by any stretch. I don't wish him death by any stretch like that. It's not like that. I think Dick Cheney was involved in some pretty horrific stuff on this planet. Hopefully he had a change of heart at some point before he passed away. Oddly, from a heart problem, which generally when you have heart disease, it's because you have dis-ease in your heart. You can't love. You don't have compassion. Those, as I'd say, fourth chakra things don't come. That green ray chakra was never activated in him. Again, service to self. Show I'm going to be doing tomorrow, Thursday, guys. If you guys lob one, it's very good stuff. All said, I love you guys. We have a lot happening in the world. Things are changing. They're changing quickly, and I want to just help you the best I can, of course, but certainly just understand when the majority of people go in a specific direction, even our majority, stand back for a second and go, why is everyone kind of going in this direction right now? I guarantee you, there is no one thing, with the exception of MAGA as a concept, right? Because that's really easy to get behind. It's very easy to be focused on. And maybe Trump and a couple other things, but like there's a lot of weird kind of conspiracy stuff. Nothing's ever as simple as we want it to be. Nothing's ever one thing or another thing. If there's two choices, it's not either of them, ever. Like, I'm just trying my best to give you guys some of the basics. It could be that what they say, but generally it's not. It's almost never in my mind. I can't think of any time where everybody's believed something and it ended up being right. I don't know. Maybe there's an example, but I can't right now. Can't think of one. You have to be the example. You have to be the thing that's like, yeah, I get all that, but we still need to go across the street. There's crazy things happening over here, or we need to get out of this building, it's on fire, or we need to deal with the immediate problem. I get we might get a sunburn while we're running across the street to get out of our burning building. We'll worry about that later. Let's get out of the burning building. We're going to get, it's the best analogy I got, guys. I don't know, make this shit up on the fly. Can't help myself. All I know is I love you guys, and I literally lose sleep oftentimes over you all. That sounds stupid, but it's true. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system. Take as much of that buying power with you as you can. You're going to get a sweet extra little perk this month. I don't know if we can keep doing it, frankly. It's so we'll see. November, close the deal. DRSlikesgold.com. I love you guys. Got a great music show coming up this week. 80s music for the most part. I think we're saying it's inspired by Graceland just because that's so much easier, but it's almost all 80s music. It just happened Saturday. I was having a tough day. I was having a tough week. And Saturdays is typically my one chance to kind of just not give a shit about anything, not look at news, not care about news. I literally don't look at news at all. I don't care about. The world could end on Saturday, and that would be rad. I hope that happens if it ever does. If there's ever an end of the world, I hope it happens on Saturday. I hope I'm totally oblivious to it, and it just happens. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. It'll suck for you guys maybe, but that'd be awesome. We're doing this together. And, the music, that's where, it's just the bar. Someone got a hold of the music thing, and it was playing 80s. It was freaking awesome. Just great music. Great music. So that's what's going to happen this coming Friday. 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central, right? And Thursday we do Law of One, same times, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's a lot of fun. And last week we did a thing where I invited people to a StreamYard, and we only actually had 4, 5, 6 people show up. So we've got room for 14. And it might be one of those things where if it gets full, people can drop out after they ask their question. But we hang out for maybe an extra 30 minutes after I finish the broadcast. And this is proven to be a place where you can get some additional one-on-one. So for those of you that matters, that's part of the Thursday show. And we're, trying to make a difference. That's all I can say. I'm just trying to put my money where my mouth is, if you will. Where we go one, we freaking go all, baby. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.